So, what's up? What's up? TD Jakes. Let's just go ahead and just accept it, okay? He may not be accepting his accountability, but who are we to judge? Because we all have someone, whatever you believe in, to stand before our Maker of accountability, the sins of the Father. I mean, his family, his kids, his wife is all wrapped in, tied into this. The in-laws, the men who did the I do's to his children. This is one heck of an unmasked situation. From so-called confronting the allegations, just pastors now think they hold a liability to be accountable to the church? Or is it really just that simple to say, well, I've done it and I owe the church nothing other than I can just simply ask for forgiveness? But what's truly in the heart? Are you really compelled to take it to the cross, to leave it there, to really commit to put away old carnal ways, to stop letting the flesh lead you down a path of unrighteousness? I'm telling y'all, some of these stories that have been mentioned are somewhat unreal. Who knows? Where's the receipts? Where's the proof? Study information circulating. But I will say this, just taking a look at the Potter's house, I'm like, where are the members? Something is being said. It's some things that have been circulating for some years. For those of us that know that this is not the first time that such allegations have been brought up. So if TD Jakes, as we know, had been hanging out with Puff Daddy, all things alleged, just giving my opinion, we just having a conversation. Is it right for a man of God, a man of cloth, a man of his stature to hang out with such people? People like to come back with, people are not to exalt themselves more highly than others. But let me tell you, those of you who are saying it, please trust and believe. TD Jakes would not be hanging out with us regular folk, meaning it's got to be some type of attraction, whether it's money, whether it's a same whatever is looking handsome or beautiful to you to hang out. It has to be something of attraction, of what is in common. Some people like to hang out, rub elbows with people who they feel like they can get them to a higher level. Now, it has been reported, it has been mentioned, those who have mentioned it, such ones, they have paid a very pretty penny to hang out with TD Jakes, to be mentored by him, in hopes of that elevating their credentials, their belief in the world, to be basically accepted by regular folks, to esteem these pastors, these bishops, more highly than what a lot of us should. Meaning, you gonna hand over your money, your pocketbook, your checkbook, your last months of rent that you may not have because you done handed it over, and now you have nothing to go forward because you're believing in this prosperity message. This is why God gives us the freedom of choice to make decisions. That was welcomed into our lives. So I feel like sometimes when we go so far as to go too far to take away from the church, you can walk away. You are, if you are in your right mind, believe in sound doctrine, to say, okay, enough is enough. All of these rapid rumors is something true. It's not to just totally give up on the church, but some of these things will make you go home. Now, see, when the church became tied up to be a nonprofit concerning the government getting involved, sometimes, as well as the city, whether it's the federal getting involved, you get tied up in more things than what you really planned on being. But unfortunately, it is what comes with the territory. They will tell you sometimes who you got to hang out with, the higher ups, who you have to indulge with, But because the money is so good and because you have this prosperity message and you're listening to somebody else because it's somebody higher than you, TD Jakes, you think it's okay to just get out there and roam around and be of a like kind. But what is the example that you are setting? God is coming back for a church without a spot or wrinkle. Yes, there is forgiveness at the cross, but how true and willing are people really to take it to the cross and leave it there, and also to preach salvation, deliverance, instead of these watered down motivational speeches to make you feel good at the moment. That's something that you really got to question, because it's almost like, come ye, come all. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're coming to the church for help. You're coming to the church. It's a place of repentance. You're coming in the church broken. You're not this person who has it all made up. Nobody is perfect. The way we had entered into this world. And if a person can humble themselves and pray to get rid of what is trying to control their lives, because flesh is not a joke. That's why if you're going to get out there and hang out with the likes of the puppies, because these puppy parties have been mentioned for years. He done heard some things. And one thing about it, people saying, oh, well, you got to go to them. There's nothing wrong with that. Go ye therefore, teach all nations. It's nothing wrong with that. But here's the thing, though. What time do you need to leave by? What time is it when you have to realize your eyes have to be covered? What time is it when you have to realize that you can't be a hearer of what is being said, that you got to sometimes bring them folk on your time? Or it has to be more of a neutral ground base, because the thing is, sometimes people will try to bring you into their environment and letting the devil use them to seek who they may devour. Everybody is not for you. Just because you TD Jakes, you are still a man. Just because you are Serita Jakes, you are still a woman. Just because you are Sarah Jakes, Cora Jakes. Yes, all these names I have named out. You got Cora Jakes' name that has been circulating for some years. Talking about she's stealing babies, allegedly. The mother of that biological child, who has grown up, it's not a little baby no more, has spoken out, thinking like her mind was manipulated, and Cora Jakes had talked her into giving her baby away, saying that this would be best. She said, the mother saying she thought she was going for a form of counseling, to be uplifted, to be uplifted, to be edified, to know that she can take care of her child, to know that it's okay, whatever she is going through. Next thing you know, she done signed the papers away, and she ain't got her child no more. No more custody. Then you got Sarah Jakes. It was mentioned about her, how she just did a money grab, allegedly, to have married the man that she did. But sometimes people do marry for business purposes only. Now, if she has the right thing in her heart, as far as wanting to win souls, wanting to do the right thing, that is up to her. I mean, they said the husband at the time, he got a divorce from his then current wife within a month to be a part of the Jakes family. Yeah, that's rather soon, but hey, only God can judge. Serita Jakes with her two sons, it's been mentioned more times than once now, because it's busy circulating in the personal home of the Potter family, the Jakes family. You're hearing about the son out here in these streets, not too far from the church, at a park, allegedly soliciting for extra curricular activities with a undercover cop. And that came out. Now, has he had his time to just come before the church? I don't know what position he had. But one thing about it, y'all, that spirit of that type of looking at the same body makeup is very rapid, very rampant in the church. I recall a young man calling me. We was probably about in our 20s at the time. I had moved away, and he was like, oh, I got something to tell you. I'm thinking he gonna tell me all this time. He wanted me to know that he had some type of crush on me. No, he didn't. He called to tell me that he is dating within the church. And it is a man that he is seeing, and he's good with it. And so he was like, you're not gonna believe who it is, because this man portrays himself to be holier than thou with his sermons, what he gets up there and preaching about and condemning everybody else. But he's living such a lifestyle that is not right, but we are together, and that's who I'm with. What? So I'm like, well, who is it? And he's like, I don't want to put his business out there. But I'm like, well, wrong is wrong. And before you know it, if y'all don't work out, then next thing you know, you talking to somebody else. But, but because you are of age, but the fact that it's happening in the church, I'm like, that's really, really, really messed up. And he's like, well, he came on strong to me. I'm thinking he's a man that's of the cloth. He said, but I'm going to tell you straight up, you will be surprised about how many men are dating within the church. It's no longer just talking about this woman getting with this one, or this woman talking to this pastor, or wanting to have this elite thing about rubbing shoulders with the who's. He was like, it's still that thing, but you got these men now who want to rub these shoulders by any means necessary. And so at that time, I'm just listening, I'm just taking it in. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like if we are created from our creator, yes, we all have a space in our heart. We know in our minds, we know right from wrong. Again, nobody is perfect. I'm not judging anybody. Everybody has their own house, mind to continue to clean, because these same, you can think about it, the people that are made up in the church, that's people's mamas, grandmamas, dads, granddads, great-great-granddads, cousins, second cousins, third cousins, fourth cousins. These are the people that are making up the church. Therefore, it goes back to trying the spirit by the spirit, knowing the Bible for how you can understand it. I feel like, sometimes people just got to be willing to accept common sense, and when you can sense that something isn't right. But so many people in this world nowadays just want to sweep things under the rug, and they know certain things is wrong. They don't want to speak out. That's why I commend a lot of single mothers, because it's like, people even in the church, they will try to sometimes victimize the single mother. They'll go after the single mother, thinking that they're vulnerable, thinking that they need a man in their lives. And all the time, like this one particular evangelist was saying, you don't know who they might be looking at. They looking at you, or they might be looking at your child, or they might be just looking at both of y'all. You don't know who you're inviting in your home, whether it's in the church or just meeting somebody in general. You have to be aware of the women that you let come around and minister to your kids as well. I say, don't leave your kids in vulnerable situations. Be aware. Being desperate, there goes that famous word, being desperate. Like, how desperate are you really willing to be that you're just willing to risk it all? That can really turn into a whole life of like an unforgettable situation. If you know that you have a lusting spirit that you're dealing with, if you know you're dealing with some type of form of addictions that's just not right, why put yourself in situations where you could fall prey? People will take you down for everything you got nowadays. They will break your mental state. They will break you financially. They will break those who are attached to you, your family. That it is sometimes no return, because some people can't bounce back. Some people's minds are not strong enough. I think it's wrong that people will start a rumor, because again, we don't know if any of this stuff is true. And then at TDJ's age, it just almost behooves me that they're using that word bottom. I didn't even know what the word meant, let alone at his age. When did that word even start to circulate as to like the position that he likes? I think that you don't know who's after you. It could be somebody in the church that set it up. Because church members, they get jealous, they get upset. They may have thought that they had next in line to be the next Devon Franklin, so to speak, or the next Torque Roberts, whoever else, was affiliation through the years. With Shawnee's O'Neal's husband's name? He is known to be TD Jake's spiritual son. I cannot think, but he has mentored under TD Jakes as well. But no, every clean spirit, just because you go up there preaching the word, I think this is a good thing that there is an awakening going on with these churches and people not being so bamboozled to reach in a pocket when you hear it's 21 people, Juanita Bynum, she allegedly was saying there's 21 people in the house. If you want that promotion on your job, you need to write this check for $1,000. It is time to wake up and just know that it is not just the churches that we are seeing. It is not just the guest speakers that we are seeing on TV, on YouTube, on CBN, on 700 Club. Okay, it is not just those. It is those living, building churches right underneath our nose with having their own plan and agenda. So right now, if TD Jakes is being the one that's being caught out, just know if this is true, he's not only operating by himself. There's always been ones before him. There's ones now. There's going to be ones after him, whether it is him or not. Doing this, things will continue to come out. There will be revelations. There will be things spoken. Will you be ready to be a hearer? And what are you going to do about it? And then we have to even question our own selves as far as how are we living and are we doing the right thing? It's great to be a nice person, but it's terrible, terrible to be vindictive and saying things that will just bring people down for like forever and ever. But again, nobody's perfect. It's a constant renewance of the mind. There is repentance at the cross if a person is for real about it. So we shall continue to see how this goes. But I just know what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And in this day and time, it's pretty deep because something every day is coming at us to be aware of this, be aware of that. Like these are some really, really deep distractions and how far we want to let our mind go to even believe into these deep distractions. If anything, get a hold of your own deep distractions. Get a hold of, showing love and being supportive of your own family members who have been there for you. If it is somebody sometimes that you need to go and ask for forgiveness, because people have a hard time humbling themselves. May need to go to God. Maybe it needs to start there to ask God for forgiveness. We are all in this. We are all being looked at. So on that note, I just wanted to touch, more on this TD Jakes situation as it continues to unravel.